Ganun po. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Ay, good afternoon po.
Good afternoon, Asad. So now,
Magandang hapon po.
yeah. Welcome to this year's pilot episode of Iloilo Business Online. Iloilo Business Online is an initiative of the Iloilo Business Club Incorporated in partnership with the Daily Guardian. In this pilot episode for 2021, we are going to converse about the current status of transportation in the Philippines, what the recovery strategies or measures and innovation-driven programs or policies being adopted or implemented to cushion the effects of the pandemic in the country, especially in the transport sector on the matter of public safety and compliance to health protocols. And we're very glad to invite the Secretary of Transportation, Secretary Art TUGADE, to join us. Although he has to attend to an urgent matter and he instead sent his asset, Mark, in order to represent him. To formally begin our Iloilo Business Online pilot episode for this year, I would like to call on the chairman of the Iloilo Business Club, Mr. Jose Juan Manchi Hamora III, in order to welcome us all.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and members of Iloilo Business Club, I would like to welcome you to another exciting year of online business conversation with key leaders and prominent guests about the latest news and issues in the country amid the pandemic. We are honored to have Secretary Arthur Tugade of the Department of Transportation as our guest in this first session of Iloilo Business Online for 2021. The transportation industry is one of the most effective sectors when COVID-19 hit the country last year. We look forward to hearing the current status of transportation in the Philippines. What are the recovery strategies, measures, and innovations driven programs or policies initiated with the department to cushion the effect of the pandemic, especially on the matter of modernization, public safety, and compliance to health protocols? We take this opportunity to thank our moderator for today, Mr. Jigger Latosa, the CEO of Future Smart Resources and Strategies Incorporated, for moderating our session this afternoon, and a special thanks to our partner, the Daily Guardian, for making all our IBO sessions available to all of you. We look forward for a more business conversation with you this year. Please do not hesitate to reach our IBC Secretariat for any topic you may want us to feature or for any suggestion you may have to improve Iloilo Business Online. Thank you very much, and let us all keep practicing our health protocols. Stay safe. Good afternoon again. Thank you.
Oh,
Hello. Yeah. I changed.
Can't hear you. No sound.
Okay. We now turn to the main presentation for this episode of Iloilo Business Online. As I said earlier, the secretary has an urgent matter to attend to, but I think it's important that all of us get to know him a little bit. So before I introduce ASEC, I would like first to say a few information about Secretary Arthur Tugade. I was informed that he really had prepared his presentation for this episode of Iloilo Online. And so I think it's important that we get to know him. But Attorney Arthur Planta Tugade is the current Secretary of the Department of Transportation. He was born into a life of privilege, and he dealt with unbelievable challenges growing up. San Beda College took art under its wing and made him a scholar from elementary to law school, where he graduated magna cum laude in philosophy in 1967 and cum laude in law in 1971. He completed his executive program at the National University of Singapore under the NUS Stanford program in 1985. Secretary Tugade holds an honorary doctorate degree, Doctor of Laws, honoris causa from the Manuel L. Quezon University. His foray into government started in December 2012 when he was appointed Chief Executive Officer and President of Clark Development Corporation. As the 18th Secretary of DOTr, he brings with him the values of hard work, incorruptibility, and the political will to get things done. Under his watch, he vowed to build the boldest and most ambitious transport infrastructure this country has ever seen. By the end of his term, he would have been able to formulate a 30-year roadmap that will help provide a consolidated nationwide transportation system that is efficient, intelligent, and environmental friendly. Under his leadership, the DOTr was able to address controversial issues that hounded the Philippines in the past few years. There is no more backlog in driver's licenses. Vehicle plates are being distributed. The MRT3 has significantly reduced unloading incidents. More than 300 ports projects have been completed. Airports nationwide improve their on-time performance. PUVs and land transport in general are getting an overhaul. Several corrupt officials have been dismissed. Bidding of projects were streamed live online. DOTr agencies remit record-breaking dividends, and a record number of high-impact transport infrastructure projects are underway. In the face of the coronavirus 2019 pandemic, the country's transportation chief started to revolutionize mobility to adapt to the changing times, or the so-called new normal, in its four sectors, namely the road, railways, aviation, and maritime sectors. To represent Secretary Art Tugade in this conference, in this episode, because he had to attend to an urgent matter, he sent his Undersecretary, Attorney Mark Stephen C. Pastor. I have the privilege of introducing to you him now before he makes the presentation. Attorney Mark Stephen Pastor is the current Assistant Secretary for Road Transport and Infrastructure of the Department of Transportation of the Philippines, wherein he also previously served as Assistant Secretary for Legal Affairs and officer in charge of the Office of the Assistant Secretary for Administrative Services. In 2018, he was among Filipinos who were invited to the US to take part in the International Visitors Leadership Program, the US State Department's premier exchange program for professionals. Asek Pastor, just like Secretary Art, is an alumnus of the San Beda College, Manila, now San Beda University, where he finished both his law degree and his Bachelor of Science degree in Commerce, major in international business and entrepreneurship. Ladies and gentlemen of the Iloilo Business Club and the general public following us through the Daily Guardian's Facebook Live, it is my honor to present to you Attorney Mark Stephen Pastor, Assistant Secretary for Road Transport and Infrastructure of the DOTr. Attorney Mark.
Thank you, Mr. Latosa. Good afternoon, everyone. IBC Chairman Juan Jose Jamora III, future Smart Resources and Strategies Incorporated CEO Jigger Latosa, esteemed guests, officials, and to our viewers, maayong hapon po sa inyong tanan. On behalf of our hardworking Transportation Chief, Secretary Arthur P. Tugade, I am very grateful and honored to be of his representation in today's online webinar. He may not be with us in this event physically, as he is currently in Surigao del Sur with our President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, to be in aid and assistance to our flood-hit kababayans. He would like to express his appreciation to the Iloilo Business Club for this opportunity to discuss the efforts as well as the initiatives of the Department of Transportation in sustaining a safe and efficient transportation system in the country. Almost 5 years ago, when our beloved President Rodrigo Roa Duterte took office, the marching order he gave to Secretary Arthur P. Tugade was clear, and it was crystal clear. Make the Filipino life comfortable. And in making the Filipino life comfortable, the Department of Transportation has been gearing towards revolutionizing the country's transport system to become modern, safe, and efficient. We are carrying this out through engaging an asset build-up strategy by constructing and rehabilitating much-needed infrastructure to bridge the infrastructure gap in the country, which has impaired the economy for decades. The DOTr also believes that as we aim towards swift recovery and economic development, especially during these times that we are further challenged by a pandemic, infrastructure development remains a key driver. Since 2016, the Department of Transportation and the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines have already completed 121 airport projects, working on 114 others, and are set to start on 75 more. Among the completed airport projects is the newly rehabilitated Ninoy Aquino International Airport runway and its newly constructed aircraft taxiway, which we inaugurated last week. With the upgraded airside facilities, the maximum allowable commercial aircraft movement of our main gateway has been increased from 40 to 50 flight movements per hour. We also have ongoing airport projects slated for completion this year. These include the Bicol International Airport and the NAIA Terminal 2 rehabilitation. Here in Western Visayas, we have ongoing projects, including the Calibo Airport, which we expect to be completed by July of this year. And with the development of its passenger terminal building, now at 98% completion rate, we will be ready for operation before the year ends. We are also developing the Antique Airport. The ongoing improvements for this project are set for completion in the second quarter of 2021. In the railway sector, we are working nonstop for the delivery of big ticket projects, such as the country's first ever underground railway, the Metro Manila Subway, the PNR Clark Phase 1, MRT-7, LRT-1 Cavite Extension, and the Common Station. Meanwhile, the LRT-2 East Extension is set to start operations by April of this year. May I also give emphasis that the Metro Manila Subway is also dubbed the project of the century of the Department of Transportation. Shown on the slides are the different projects of the department. The massive rehabilitation of the MRT-3 is likewise ongoing and is slated for completion by December 2021. We are also building the first railway system in Mindanao, the Mindanao Railway Project. The DOTr is targeting to start its partial operations by second quarter of 2022. In the road sector, which is the sector that I handle, we are promoting modern, safe, and efficient transportation through the implementation of the biggest transformational initiative under the Duterte administration, the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program. Under the PUVMP, we aim to consolidate franchises, rationalize routes, and use environment-friendly public utility vehicles, which will run on a regular fleet-managed schedule. With modern PUV units, this will facilitate the implementation of stringent health and safety protocols to uphold and protect the welfare of our commuters. In fact, in Region 6, they have been showing its full support to PUVMP, as we have a total of 73 transport cooperatives participating in the program with over 14,000 members. In Metro Manila, we also aim to enhance our pedestrian facilities along EDSA with establishment of covered elevated walkways through the EDSA Greenways project. We aim to commence its partial operations by December of this year. In Cebu, we are pushing for the partial operability of the Cebu Bus Rapid Transit, or Cebu BRT, within this year by following a 24/7 construction work schedule. In Davao, a modern high-priority bus system will be established through the Davao Public Transport Modernization Project, which we likewise expect partial operations by this 2021. In the maritime sector, we are fast-tracking the completion of 104 port projects to add to the 416 port projects we have completed since the Duterte administration took over in 2016. To note, the DOTr and the Philippine Ports Authority virtually inaugurated 14 port projects amid the strict community quarantine last year. These projects, which include Iloilo ports such as Iloilo Commercial Port Complex and the Port of Estancia. Meanwhile, we also have the ongoing seaport projects in the Western Visayas scheduled for inauguration this 2021. These are the ports of Dumangas, Iloilo, Port of Banago in Bacolod City, Port of Basiao, Ibasan in Capiz. Now let's move on to the digitalization efforts of the department. When COVID-19 pandemic struck last year, we are further challenged to foster balanced development of the country's public transportation system and promote safety precautionary initiatives to help curb the spread of the corona disease 2019. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, in this so-called new normal, we are promoting modern, safe, and efficient transportation through digitalization. Frontline agencies of the DOTr are harnessing best practices in technology and implementing fresh innovations to tackle our ever-changing needs. In the road sector, agency processes for the renewal of permits and licenses are also now made available through the Land Transportation Management System, or LTMS, and the Public Transport Online Processing System, or PTOPS, of the LTFRB. Further, we are also implementing contactless or cashless payment systems, such as the electronic toll collection and the automated fare collection system, or AFCS, for public utility vehicles. Other modes of cashless and contactless payment are being explored and will soon be implemented. In our rail lines, services are shifting to total digitalization. This includes the use of vending machines for train ticket purchases, similar to what we see abroad, and exploring the use of various digital payment options. Last year, the Philippine National Railways, or PNR, launched and operationalized its artificial intelligence system on its infrastructure for massive scanning and temperature profiling, automated contract tracing, detection of social distancing violations, face mask detection, and frequent contact surface analysis. In our seaports, the Philippine Ports Authority has introduced its new unified electronic ticketing system. This system will allow passengers to do ticket transactions online, will enable overall ease of doing business, get rid of fixers and scalpers, and improve port processes for maritime safety and security. As part of the new normal, contact tracing will be widely implemented in the major transport hubs to break the chains of COVID-19 transmission. The use of contact tracing application is being widely used in seaports, airports, rail lines, and eventually in public utility vehicles. Along with these innovations and initiatives, we also ensure the protection and upholding of the safety of the riding public. All transport sectors have been ordered to strictly enforce the following of the 7 commandments inside public transportation, as recommended by the health experts and the interagency task force. If I may be allowed to enumerate the 7 public transport commandments, number 1 is the wearing of face masks and face shields. Number 2, no talking and making telephone calls. Number 3, no eating. Number 4, keeping our public utility vehicles well ventilated. Number 5, conducting frequent disinfection. Number 6, no passengers with COVID-19 symptoms are to be allowed inside public transportation. And number 7, observing appropriate physical distancing rule. As our commitment to fulfill the aspiration of our beloved President to make the Filipino life comfortable, the Department of Transportation, through the strong leadership of Secretary Tugade, and its attached agencies will continue to fast-track the delivery of various infrastructure projects while ensuring the safety of the riding public. Indeed, this health and economic crisis has inflicted a tragic toll and has an upsetting effect in our lives. This calls for our strong need to step up and heighten our socio-economic advancement. As you can see, we are doing these actions in the best way we can by working rapidly with little time left that we have. Rest assured that we will not waste a single moment towards a modern, safe, and efficient transportation system in the Philippines. On behalf of Secretary Tugade and the men and women of the Department of Transportation, sa inyo pong lahat, maayong hapon at mabuhay po kayong lahat.
Thank you very much, ASEC Mark, for that very comprehensive presentation on behalf of Secretary of Art. We now have come to the open forum. We have some questions that have been sent in. Can you hear me, Attorney Mark? How's my audio?
Yes, Sir Jigger, I can hear you loud and clear.
That's great. That's great. So first question is, Are there any plans to establish a regional office for DOTR in Western Visayas with Iloilo City as base?
That's a very good question, Sir Jigger. No? The direction really of the department right now is to further streamline the services of our attached agencies, attached line agencies, such as the LTFRB and the Land Transportation Office. That's why our existing two regional offices, one in the Cordillera and the other is in Caraga, are in the process of being transformed into regional offices of LTO and LTFRB respectively. So that is the direction right now so that we can further enhance our services down the road, down the line, insofar as giving a higher level of service for the department as well as our attached agencies. So in the meantime, we have yet to have concrete plans to provide regional offices, particularly in Western Visayas and Iloilo. But of course, this will be within the pipeline of the department so as to ensure that we can provide further services to the nearby, to our provinces there, particularly in the Visayas.
Thank you, Asek. We have a question from former chairperson of the Iloilo Business Club, Ms. Maria Luisa Segovia. She's asking about the status of the conduct of feasibility studies for the establishment of mass transport systems in Metro Iloilo or Metro Bacolod. Are there any such efforts, undertakings on the part of DOTR to conduct feasibility studies towards the establishment of mass transport systems in Metro Iloilo or Metro Bacolod?
My apologies, Sir Jigger. Can you please repeat the question, sir? I'm having technical audio difficulties right now.
Okay. Ms. Segovia, this question is from the former chair of the Iloilo Business Club. She's asking if are there any, she's asking for updates if there are any efforts towards conducting an FS, feasibility study, for the establishment of mass transport systems in Metro Iloilo or Metro Bacolod. Is the department
As of the moment,
yeah, go ahead.
yes.
Go ahead.
As of the moment, Sir Jigger, we have yet to have finalized a feasibility study for the province of Iloilo, for the city of Iloilo City, and
Yeah.
of course, it is within our horizon to prepare for that documentation, considering the booming economy in our the progress in Iloilo City. So we can provide that study at the soonest possible time, particularly this year that we have funding for feasibility study. Particularly, if I may interject, we are conducting a nationwide feasibility study for bike lanes. So we can also integrate this with our
Okay.
other projects that will focus in Western Visayas.
Okay, thank you, attorney. Another question from Ms. Segovia is about the proposed modernization and expansion of the Iloilo International Airport under a PPP modality. She has information that there is a proposed PPP for the modernization of the Iloilo International Airport with the Villar Group. Do you have any updates on that?
Yes, we are in receipt of that unsolicited proposal, and it is submitted right now to NEDA for evaluation. While it has to comply with certain requirements, of course, of NEDA ICC, but of course we're trying to push for it to be expedited so that it will be operational or it will be adopted within the term of this administration.
Thank you, attorney. In case any of our participants via Zoom, members of the Iloilo Business Club would like to ask a question, just raise your hand and speak you may ask the question directly, or you may send in the question via the chat room of our Zoom facility. While waiting for those questions, we have some other questions here for DOTR. Attorney, what is the future, you think, of the e-jeepneys in the country? Is this something the DOTR will include in the mix of alternatives for land transportation?
Yes, certainly, Sir Jigger. When the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program was launched in 2017, one of its main objectives is to move towards low emission in public utility vehicles. Also promoting environment-friendly road-based transportation system. This is compliant really with the Clean Air Act of 2007 and Euro 4 emission, as well as electric, solar, and alternative fuel, which we could see in more developed countries, in first world countries. In regulating this, the energy efficiency and conservation policies for the transport sector, together with other national government agencies such as the Department of Energy, NEDA, DNR, and DOTR, was created to support the development and issuance of policies, study funding schemes, and provide technical assistance related to energy efficiency and conservation plans in the transport sector. Currently, the Department of Transportation, in partnership with the United Nations Development Program, Low Carbon Transport, LCT, is working on identifying electric vehicle routes in the country and for the operational electric vehicles. We now have 344 public utility jeepneys running in 26 routes nationwide. In addition to that, I can also manifest that the department, together with the Senate through the leadership of Senator Gatchalian, has been pushing for proper legislation so that we can still push forward this initiative insofar as electric vehicles are concerned.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you, Asek. Now let's talk about something that has recently been a bit controversial. No? How is the DOTR addressing the concerns of motor vehicle owners over the implementation of the car seat requirements and motor vehicles inspection? That's quite a controversy recently.
Yes, that's right, Sir Jigger. The word controversy is just apt for this topic.
Yeah.
Well, to put it into context, pre-pandemic back in 2019, the child car seat law has already been enacted, wherein the Department of Transportation through the LTO was tasked to enforce the law, which prioritizes the safety of children in line with our road safety objectives. Of course, by operation of law, it became effective during the first week of February, and of course, much controversy was confronted by the said enactment of the law. Of course, on behalf of the Department of Transportation, we are pushing for road safety, as it will further promote the safety of the limb and liberty of our children who are passengers of private vehicles or even public transport. But however, since President Duterte has already ordered its suspension, the Department of Transportation has adhered and is now conducting an intensified information and education campaign to further inform the public of the significance of this law. So just to be clear, the department will not apprehend, will not enforce it just to apprehend, but rather we would like to widen the information campaign with regard to this law.
Yeah, thank you for addressing that issue, which you said is quite controversial.
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
What's the mandate?
Yes, Jigger,
yeah, go ahead, Asek.
I think you also mentioned.
Go ahead.
Yes, pardon me, Jigger. I think you also mentioned about the private motor vehicle inspection system.
Oh, yeah, yes.
As of the moment, of course, we wanted to fully implement it so that we can enforce the roadworthiness of vehicles that will traverse our roads. And this is part and parcel of course, the road safety projects of the Department of Transportation. However, again, the good president, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte, has already give guidance that it will not be mandatory at this point in time, and it will work hand in hand with the emission testing. Of course, we will, the Department of Transportation, together with our attached agencies, particularly LTO, will have to abide with the mandate given by the president, considering that we are in a pandemic still.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for addressing those twin questions, Asek. You mentioned that one of the mandates of DOTR, aside from the modernization of our transport system and ensuring efficiency in our transport system, is safety, transport safety. So we come to the issue of the safety of bikers. Iloilo City recently has been very focused on making Iloilo City a haven for bikers. In fact, there is an effort now to make Iloilo City the biking capital of the Philippines. So my question is, what are the programs or plans that the DOTR is considering in order to ensure the safety of bikers, particularly on our highways?
Thank you, Jigger. First and foremost, I would like to congratulate the province of Iloilo in terms of being a trailblazer insofar as biking lanes are concerned. Given this higher demand in bike lanes during the pandemic, the Department of Transportation, together with our partner agencies, Department of Public Works and Highways, Department of Health, and Department of Interior Local Government, have came out with a joint administrative order creating the Active Transport Technical Working Group. This is to further promote active transport as a viable means of public transportation, alternative mode of transportation that may be utilized by our citizenry, by our people. So the DO 2020-14, wherein we set the guidelines and protocols for active transportation and light mobility vehicles last August 2020, wherein we of course highlight the safety of our bikers. We also thank our legislative branch of government that they provided us funding under Bayanihan 2, wherein they provided 1.3 billion pesos of bike lanes that will be utilized not only in the National Capital Region, but nationwide. So to give you an update, we have, based on the funding that was provided to us, we have set, in partnership with the Department of Public Works and Highways, that Metro Manila will more or less have 350 kilometers worth of bike lanes. Metro Cebu to have 140 kilometers of bike lanes, and Metro Davao, 50 kilometers of bike lanes. We are still focusing at this point in time with the metro cities so that we can further bolster the strong demand for bike users there, and considering that these are the centers for economic development at this point. So as a matter of an update, for Metro Manila, we have already covered 41 kilometers of bike lanes. For Metro Cebu, 31 kilometers. And Metro Davao, 4 to 5 kilometers already. So a total of 75 kilometers. And we undertake, together with the partner agencies, to complete this project until June 30 of this year, wherein the validity of the funds under Bayanihan 2 will last. In addition to that, we have also embarked in another project, which we usually the bike sharing system. We partnered with the Metro Manila Development Authority, and we understand that they have already completed the procurement process. And this bike sharing program will particularly cater at this point in time the EDSA corridor in the National Capital Region by installing bike sharing stations in our MRT and LRT stations, and to be connected with government facilities such as city halls and hospitals within the vicinity.
Thank you. Thank you, Asad Mark. We have another question from Ms. Segovia, a former chair of the Iloilo Business Club. She's asking what DOTR policy supports LTFRB's Memorandum Circular 2017-30, so that perhaps no land transport terminal in our area can operate if it has not been accredited or is compliant to the accreditation process of the LTFRB. She believes that perhaps this is the chance of the community for cleaner, safer facilities in this particular area.
That is a very good question, and we are, of course, we are addressing it right now because of the pandemic, of course, that we would like to control as well the terminals that will be utilized by our public utility buses, particularly here, if I may just focus right now in the National Capital Region. There is a need really for us to focus in certain terminals which are accredited, of course, by government, not only by DOTR, not only by LTFRB, but also by our local government units, and in this case for Metro Manila, MMDA, so that we can ensure that there is, of course, we can implement strictly the health and safety protocols that are being enforced at this point in time. So with regard to any support to LTFRB, we are implementing that. In fact, we have the PITX, which is accredited through a PPP program, wherein, of course, it is state of the art. There is systematic dispatching. There are world-class, if I may say, world-class facility that can be used by our commuters to and from Metro Manila and the neighboring provinces. This will also be adopted in other parts of the region. In fact, there is an initiative in the province of Camarines Sur that they would like to have a some sort of PITX that may be constructed in the area.
Thank you, Attorney. Now we have another question coming in through our chat room from Mr. Joseph Severino. Attorney, can the government launch a campaign on how motorists should handle bicycle riders and ensure their safety on the road? The roads need to be shared with bicycle riders, and they deserve respect and safety on the road. Does the DOTR have campaigns related to this?
Yes, sir. That's a very good question and a timely one, if I may add. In fact, we just came from a meeting this morning wherein we are in partnership, of course, with the other government agencies, such as I mentioned earlier, DPWH, DOH, DILG, MMDA, and now we have partnered also with the civil society groups that are promoting bike safety in the country, which in particular is the Move as One coalition earlier, as well as the HPAC. So there are initiatives from the department. In fact, we partnered with the local mall chain that will promote the bike manual that we created, we prepared in the department, so that it will be cascaded further down the line to our constituents, even in the far-flung provinces. And of course, they will be educated as well. We are also in coordination with certain national non-government offices, so that we will conduct a seminar so that it will further educate our cyclists that they should be treated as a mode of transportation on the road. Another point that I'd like to give emphasis is road sharing. This has been a critical point in our country, which for the longest time our country has focused that roads are utilized only for motorized vehicles.
Right.
This thinking should now be, I think we should adapt to the changing times, that cyclists also has equal rights to our roads to utilize the roads, so to speak.
Yeah, that's very, very responsive to
If
the
I may
question.
add, Sir Jigger, no?
Yeah, please, go ahead. Go on.
Of course, if I may also enlighten the body, the Department of Transportation, together with the DPWH, has created three kinds of bike class lanes. So of course, this will depend on the existing configuration or existing condition of the roads. Number one is on the bike lane is the totally separated and segregated bike lanes, which is not in the carriageway. This is the optimum bike lane system, of course, that we can adopt in the country, because it will, of course, 100% protect the drivers from other motorized vehicles. This will separate them from the road carriageway. Another class of bike lanes is what we call class 2, wherein we have bike lane under the carriageway for in the roads, but in the outermost lane, it will be separated by concrete barriers or even bollards with concrete barriers, so that they will not be intruded by motorized vehicles, and of course ensure still the safety of our cyclists. And the third one is the road sharing bike lanes, which will of course be more or less marked by pavement markings, which will be used if there are certain establishments on the side that will require a driveway. So I'd like to give emphasis that the Department of Transportation is taking very seriously our programs for active transport, and we have adopted international standards to promote this further.
Oh, that's good news. No, a lot of good news, particularly for our bikers on the road. Yeah. We don't have much time left, so perhaps we can round up the questions for DOTR. Attorney has been very kind to accommodate us and take the place of secretary, so we don't want to take much of his time. He has other commitments as well. Perhaps we can take these as a last question. Asek, what is your general outlook on the recovery of the transportation sector that has been also severely affected by COVID-19? What is your outlook? We can't hear you, attorney.
Yes. Hello.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now, sir?
Yeah. You're good now.
Okay, thank you. The pandemic has challenged our transportation system, as it has economically and significantly affected our stakeholders, our commuters. But of course, we have found this an opportune time as well to rethink and reform our system to become resilient in future pandemics. This is the guidance of the Secretary, and this is what is being implemented by the Department of Transportation now at this point in time. As the backbone to keep the economy moving, the recovery of the transport sector is very vital, and now we are working twice as hard to implement our programs and projects for both infrastructure and non-infrastructure. I wish to highlight that, of course, we are working now on limited time because we are several months away from the end of the administration. Hence, we are asking not only from our support from our co-stakeholders in government, but also our private stakeholders. We are not only asking for a support, but rather we would like to partner with our private with the private sector for that matter. We would like to have not only a whole of government approach, but rather a whole of nation approach.
Thank you very much, attorney, for the insights and the sharing that you gave us here with the Iloilo Business Club and Ilonggos in general. Thank you for your time. So on behalf of the Iloilo Business Club and the Daily Guardian, we would like to thank the Department of Transportation, Secretary R. Tugade, and of course, the very able replacement, Attorney Pastor, for sharing your time with us and your expertise regarding the transport sector. We would like to say that the drive towards a safe, modern, and efficient transport system is an obligation, not a responsibility, not only of the DOTR. Realizing a safe, efficient, modern transport system is a shared responsibility of all. Government, the national government through the DOTR, the local government units, the business sector, owners of motor vehicles, bikers, everyone has an obligation to take. in promoting this ideal transport system that we all desire. So thank you all for your participation in this pilot episode of Iloilo Business Online, brought to you by the Iloilo Business Club and the Daily Guardian. On my part, I'd like to thank Accent Line BPO for allowing me to use their facility for this, for moderating this program. We look forward to having you again. Again, thank you very much, Asek, and we wish you more power and all the best as you give everything you can in order to serve the general public, particularly in the transport sector. Thank you all, everyone. Thank you all, and good afternoon.
Thank you po. Thank you po. Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone.